City of Austin has really good up-to-date data that they make publicly available on the safety record, and I've reviewed that constantly as we go because they update it on a daily basis. Tesla still only had one safety incident, so not a crash. This was the Dave Lee, the safety rider stopped in lane, pushed the button to stop in lane instead of rolling forward at a foot per second or 6 inches per second. It stopped in lane because a UPS truck was backing into the same parking space that it was going to go for, right? And the UPS driver was not paying attention, could have backed into the vehicle, right? But it would have been a crash, not really to the fault of the Tesla, but it could have been a fender bender that was avoided. So not like a crash would have occurred, lives would have been lost, injuries would have happened. It would have been property damage of some kind. On the call, they said they had 7,000 plus miles over the 30 days.
Mhm.
So that is one incident for 37. There were also several other disengagements related to navigation and some other stuff, but not related to safety. Um, and So we get to 1535, maybe 50 vehicles. So Tesla had one safety incident. That was one. Waymo has had 27 safety incidents. I'll have more on the report showing that. So that was three collisions. So two of those collisions occurred when they were doing their initial testing
Mhm.
before they did commercial service.
Mhm.
So the thing is, that also says that Austin will record incidences related to vehicles just driving around for anything you're doing in the area.
Got it.
Driving passengers around, or whether you're just testing, gets included in that stuff. So Tesla has 3 to 6 times more vehicles running around mapping and testing and getting ready to expand to a full city. If something happened in the month or two while they're getting ready, that would lump into Tesla safety incidences, blocking traffic, whatever you're doing.
Right.
And also there were 4 times where Waymo ignored APD, so I assume that's fire police direction. So they're doing that. So they're causing or be involved in collisions, blocking traffic, ignoring stuff. A lot of blocking traffic that they do and I'll go into that in detail. So Tesla had 500 plus vehicle days, right? Assuming like 15 some vehicles over the 30 some days. And they have 3,000 some vehicle days if you include all the testing that's clearly going on in the area. And then one incident. And then 7,000 miles of paid rides, but over 30,000, maybe 40,000 miles of rides and testing. Waymo has an incident every 12,000 miles. So I run the numbers based on they have 250,000 miles per week for
Mhm.
their full fleet. And so I'm giving them saying if you have 100 vehicles, 1/10 of your stuff, and they may even have less than 1/10, maybe only 6% of the vehicles in Austin, that would mean they have at least 25,000 miles per week. And they may have fluctuation like 50 cars going, 100 cars going. I'm giving credit for the full thing.
Okay.
So I'm overestimating their miles between incidences and then miles between accidents. And this one incident every 200, 300 vehicle days. Again, assuming the full 100 vehicles supposedly are driving every day,
Okay.
which may or may not be happening. So again, this is a chart on the Austin autonomous vehicle website page. The one incidence over, now, into the second month for Tesla, and it was just that one daily incident. And then you have so you can do a mouse over of the each month to, okay, 6 incidents in in July, 11 in June, 14 in May. They had a drop off in April after they started off. They kicked off in March, and then they have incidents before they started in March and into last year. And then the breakdown in the little circle below saying, okay, it's 4 times they ignored um, the directions. Oh, sorry. One time they ignored the directions of APD. One time they had a collision, that the purple one. Four times they had safety concerns. Um, and then this is the full 71 instances they've had, basically from 2024, where they're doing the testing, and then rolling into their actual service. Probably also mixed with testing. So we see that three collisions, one near miss, um, and then several of the ignoring APD, like 8 times ignored APD.
Hmm.
And then 27 were the safety incidents, so roughly 10x the versus the collisions versus safety issues. And then 31 that were nuisance and blocking traffic, which I think are a similar thing because they get into intersections, they block traffic. It's been caught on video by
Sure.
Farzad. Um, okay, and then we've had insurance companies and National Highway Safety report how many accidents they've had. So from 2021 to 2024, they had nearly 700 accidents and oftentimes they're not the one responsible.
Right.
So 80, 90% they're not the one responsible, but 10% they are.
Hmm.
Um, and then they cause accidents, like blocking the traffic. People, you know, um, they didn't get involved in the accident, but an accident happened beside them because they were, messing things up.
Sure.
Someone had to avoid them, and they ran into things. They show only 20 incidences in Texas. Those are the incidences in the testing phase for Austin, right? In 2024. And then you add 50 more. So 25 in 2025, we have 50 more incidences in Austin. And probably it's at least 500 plus incidents that have been happening in California and Arizona because there's, 10 times as many vehicles and activity happening in California and Austin. And also, if we have the 10x number of these are accidents, 10x the number of safety incidents, 10x the number of blocking, because assuming the data from Austin is correct, then you're looking at 5,000, 6,000 safety instances, 6,000 blocking traffic nuisance thing that are happening with Waymo. Because assuming, why would things be different in California and
Right.
Arizona?
Probably worse in some ways.
Right, right. And then there's, serious injuries and moderate injuries and minor injuries that have occurred with this is only up to 2024, not including 2025. And they're doing a lot more activity. And, up until the end of 24, they're just getting near 80 per month of accidents in the thing. So then, assuming this is kind of increasing and we know that there's more activity in in Texas, then we're likely over 100 per month um, for that. And still that's only the accidents, the collisions, not safety incidents and blocking of traffic, which are about 10x each for Waymo. So that then you're looking at maybe 1,000, incidences um, per month for them. So that's all the data on that, on the safety stuff, and the activity expansion for Tesla and for 𝐒𝐚𝐭𝐮𝐫𝐬𝑜 and Waymo. There was also the um, thing which I think maybe occurred before about the Chinese test, where they found that Tesla compares better than all the Chinese driver assist systems,
By a
and this
lot.
was by a lot. And this was, like none had other system had more than 3 out of 6 correct. And it turned out this 5 out of 6 for Tesla was with the unlocalized version
Hmm.
of FD. And Elon has said that they can do 6 out of 6 with the localized version they have now.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the instances they were doing were, sudden steering by lead vehicle, construction zone things for 2 of them, aggressive merge, and spotting a crash vehicle on the highway and a bore. And this was, in Chinese, basically the grid showing that um, all the other systems had a lot of problems with the bore or the some aspect of a construction zone type thing, and also the crash vehicle on the highway is something else. So those last 2 things they had a lot of trouble with. So now we move on to the scaling of parameters. So that was discussed in the call, where they said they could scale to 4 times the parameter, 10 times. We can expect, possibly up to a 5x improvement in interventions. So going from one incident every 7,000 miles, 10,000 miles, which we're already seeing that behavior in Austin, which that system will get out to everyone and then also get 4 times more parameters. Unless the Austin system already has 4 times more parameters, we don't know. But if it doesn't, then we keep, but they probably don't have the 10 times more parameters. We should see a further, 5x, 10x improvement in the uh, fully realized Austin system with all the new parameters and even smoother driving. So that's roughly what this further analysis does, maybe 3 to 8 times improvement overall. And then the compute training is still increasing. If you have over 120,000 H100s, that'd be about 500 exaflops because H100 has up to 4 exaflops by some measurements, depending on how much precision you use. So that would put it as the second largest AI compute cluster after the xAI cluster. And they have a pure Dojo one at 100 exaflops down at 7. So larger than Meta and the others, which probably have about the equivalent of 100,000 H100s, which might be, I'm thinking it's 25,000 B200s. I don't think they have 100,000 H100s because they have trouble making them coherent for data centers. But they can install 30,000 B200, which would have.
Has anybody reported yet that they have been able to do more than 31,000 other than xAI in terms of coherence?
I think Google does, but then Google isn't using NVIDIA chips.
Right.
So I think they may have 100,000, but their chips are weaker because they're TPUs and not NVIDIA chips.
Right.
And they have, so I have not heard of that, a larger number of chips, although they're saying that they will build it and make it work.
Right.
I think saying they'll have 400,000 chips working by middle of next year for the Stargate system or other stuff. And they're putting them together. Whether they're all working together is unclear. But based on this report from Grok that they're keeping tabs on everyone else, there's no indication that that's happening.
No.
Although you could have, again, more chips installed in one location, but are they
not coherent?
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
And then I've been tracking this again, showing that getting to 3 million H100 equivalents when they get the 550,000 chips working, and then getting very quickly to the 1 million. And it's looking like those 2 points of a Grok 5 and Grok 6 with 5 million H100 equivalents seems a lock now that they've gotten to over halfway with the 550,000 chips.
Right.